I'm Alex Dykes of thetruthaboutcars.com, and this is the mostly new 2013 Lexus LS. Now, when I say mostly new, it's about half new. Lexus tells us that there have been over 3,000 parts changes out of 6,000. That means that all the sheet metal's new, the interior is completely new, and essentially only thing that's shared with the last version is the drivetrain. And this particular model is the LS600h L. We'll take a look at the other LS models in just a second. But this is Lexus's largest flagship product. It's a hybrid, it's all-wheel drive, it has an extended wheelbase, and it has back seats that do shihatsu massage. Let's hop in and take a look. Up front we get Lexus's spindle grille. This is available in several different forms. This particular test car is the Lexus LS600h L, so it's the full-on hybrid flagship product. The F-Sport version of the LS gets sort of an egg crate grille and dark treatment around the front. Being the hybrid model, we also get standard full LED headlamps. This is a change from the previous model of LS, where only the low beams were LEDs and the high beams were still your regular halogen bulbs. In this particular car, all the lamps are LED. Under the hood of the LS600h L, we still get Lexus's 5-liter V8 with full-time all-wheel drive and their electronically controlled CVT transmission. The system together produces 438 horsepower and an unspecified amount of torque. Lexus has completely redesigned the interior of the LS, very much in the same theme as the Lexus GS and the ES models. We get sort of 3 zones on the dashboard. Up here we have a soft touch upper. In the LS600 it's also hand-stitched. We have this wood trim and aluminum bar that runs across, contains your HVAC vents as well as the Lexus analog clock. And then below that we have climate control and your audio system. Lexus has improved the touch points in this vehicle, so everywhere your knee bangs, everywhere you touch is soft and supple. There really are no seams left untouched. Even if you look over here to the steering wheel, the steering column is extremely nicely finished. There really are no problem points in here at all. Now, the style may not be to your liking. The quality is very good, but style is such a subjective thing that you may not like the interior. I am warming up to it. I wasn't ready to like it at first, but after spending about 8 hours in it so far at this event, I actually like it. It's a good place to be. The long wheelbase LS models have an incredibly large back seat, but it's not just the size of the back seat that's interesting. It's the number of controls you get back here, especially in the 600h L with this 4-seat arrangement and power ottoman here. As you can see, that's lifting up. We have a nice power ottoman. We also have a decent amount of recline motion in this seat. And what's interesting about the back seat, in addition to the recline function of this, now we're leaning back as you can see here, you can also change the shape of the seat back, so you can actually have it more cup-shaped or more upright. We don't have lumbar support like we do in the front seats, which is a bit of a pity. Here's my ride partner with Rides Magazine. And how are we liking our shihatsu massage back there? It's
quite lovely here. Now, if you close the door, I'm enjoying myself.
Standard wheelbase LS models have adequate room in the rear, but it is noticeably smaller than the BMW or Mercedes competition. As with most rear-wheel drive luxury vehicles, the middle seat should be reserved for emergencies only. Because the LS borrows much from its last generation, trunk space is pretty much the same as all the previous LSs. That's to say, it's not too bad. This is the largest roller bag you can carry on a domestic airline. As you can see, it fits in here quite nicely. Because this is the long wheelbase model with the Prestige package, which has the reclining rear seats that also shihatsu massage, and the 4-zone climate control, that takes up a decent amount of trunk space. However, there is still enough room back here for one journalist in a fair amount of comfort. We got a little power closing trunk lid, which is quite nice. Standard on all LS models is this new widescreen infotainment system. As you can see on the left, we have our infotainment and map main screen. And then on the right, we have this sort of additional 1/3 area here. It's partially cut off because our camera isn't quite as widescreen as this unit. But here on the right, basically the system shows your audio system, some basic climate control information, as well as your fuel consumption. It's all controlled with the same sort of mouse-like joystick that we've seen on Lexus models for a while. And over here on the left side of the screen, which is the main portion here, so you can see we have essentially the same Lexus Entune system with just sort of a larger screen and a slightly different interface. Over here, as you can see along the bottom, we have media, radio, setup, info, apps. These are the same apps and info screens available in basically every other Toyota Lexus N-Form system. Apparently this Bluetooth phone isn't connected, but if it was connected, we'd have access to Pandora, iHeartRadio, Bing Search, etc. Destination entry is very much the same as every other Lexus product. The map is essentially the same as every Toyota Lexus product. And as you can see, that means that the map is not quite as high resolution as some of the competing systems like BMW's iDrive or Audi's MMI. And in truth, the snap mapping system just isn't quite as pleasant to look at as some of these other systems. It is, however, completely functional. It does absolutely everything you want it to do. It does nav traffic, as you can see. We can zoom out, but it doesn't do any of the 3D topographic views that BMW's iDrive does. So here is the controller joystick. As you can see, there's sort of this joystick section here. There's a menu button. We have this toggle switch for zooming on in and out of things, and we have a shortcut button back to the mapping. As you can see on the screen, moving that around causes this little mouse sort of joystick pointer to move around on the screen. Now, there is haptic feedback, so as you move this, you notice it doesn't seem to move quite smoothly. It's kind of in a jerky little motion here as you move it around, and that's because the system snaps to those buttons on the screen. New for 2013 is an optional collision prevention system. Much like Volvo's city safety system, this system will stop the car all by itself if the car thinks that you're going to hit a pedestrian or another vehicle and you're going under about 25 miles per hour. Out on the road, the LS600 HL handles and drives very differently than your typical performance luxury vehicle. We do have a lot of power under the hood, and we do have a great deal of torque from those motors. Of course, Toyota doesn't release official torque figures, but according to our estimates on the previous 600 HL, it's somewhere between 400 and 500 pound-feet of torque, and that is a wide range, but the way that it delivers that torque is what's different about this car. It's seemingly effortless and endless because of that CVT. So you just nail the throttle, and it just keeps going and going and going. There are no shift points, no imitated shift points, nothing like that in the LS600 HL. In terms of road holding and drive, for this and the LS460, there really isn't a great deal of difference between this edition and the last version of the LS sedan. That's not a bad thing. They're both very quiet. They're tuned for a quiet, comfortable ride and not exactly corner carving. The new Lexus F-Sport does improve the feel, but the steering is still classically Lexus numb. Of course, being an LS, we have all the electronic goodies and gadgets you could imagine on hand. We have the 19-speaker Mark Levinson sound system. We have Lexus's large widescreen inform system. We have this sort of eye tracker system here, which checks to make sure that I'm paying attention and keeping awake while I'm driving the car, and will let me know if I'm going to try and hit something and I'm not paying attention. We have the all-new pre-collision system, which, very much like Volvo's city safety system, will take the car to a complete stop as long as you're driving under 25 miles an hour. So it's a very low-speed collision system. But the difference between this and Volvo's system is that it has infrared illumination and a stereo camera system to supposedly improve accuracy at night. If you've looked at the EPA numbers, you may be asking yourself, why should I buy the LS600 HL? And on the surface of it, if you want to save fuel or you want to save money, then I don't know why you'd buy a 600 HL either, because it's just not that fuel efficient. We've been cruising along this highway here at 65 miles an hour for about, according to this trip computer, 20.8 miles, and our average is only 26.7 miles per gallon. That's considerably less than we've had on the same journey in a Mercedes CLS 550. Even the BMW M6 got better fuel economy on the highway. But what the 600 HL is about is, prestige. It's green prestige. I want the biggest, baddest hybrid that there is, and I don't care that it costs $118,000, $120,000. I just want it because I want it, and it has all-wheel drive, and it sounds snazzy. That's why you buy the 600 HL. Toyota hasn't announced pricing for the all-new LS yet, so stay tuned on thetruthaboutcars.com for that, and of course the full review on the LS600 and the LS460 coming up soon.